Not bad. Oh my goodness. So one thing I have to say, it is quite amusing seeing people play the DLC with the Raimi suit. It's very interesting because many of the people that were saying it's a trash suit that we didn't need in the game, those are the same people who are now playing and having loads of fun with the suit. And if you really think about the suit, it's a beautifully designed suit. When it comes to the webbing, now that you see it in action, the reflectivity of it mimics the reflectivity of an actual spider's web, because in certain things highlights differently depending on where the sun hits it. So the suit, hopefully now you can respect the Raimi suit and you can respect the Raimi army, because it was people who actually voiced their opinions despite the criticism, despite people constantly telling us, to be happy, just be happy, be grateful. It was those people out there, including myself, who voiced the opinion, who voiced for the Raimi suit long before they had started working on it to be in the game. I think we absolutely we did a good thing, and I'm glad everyone gets to enjoy the suit as much as I do. So having just finished the last DLC of Silver Lining, I'm going to break off some pros and cons. I'm going to start off with the cons so that way we can end on a positive and a high note with the pros. When it comes to the cons, one thing that irritated me beyond belief is how they made Spider-Man a wimp. He's pretty much a little beta male. That's what it feels like. Because when it comes to Mary Jane, they actually say in the DLC, Mary Jane calls Silver Sable a strong, powerful woman. And I'm just like, oh. And it's like, we get it. There's feminists working in Insomniac. We understand. Strong, powerful woman. Got it. But the thing is, it's not even her. If she was like that and Spider-Man also had a spine and was resilient and had balls of his own, then I wouldn't have a problem with that. Then we would just have a strong power couple. She has strong opinions, he has strong opinions. But the thing is, that's not the case. Spider-Man is always caving to Mary Jane. Like, there's this instance where he's swinging and Mary Jane, he says something and Mary Jane's like, oh, you don't see me as a threat or something like that? And he's like, well, I can see you as that if you want me to. And it's just like, oh my God, it's disgusting how much she cucks Spider-Man. I'm like, bro, you are freaking Spider-Man. Do you understand? You are the superhero of New York. You can get any woman you want. And that's what it makes you feel like as a dude playing this. I don't know what it makes women feel like, but I'm sure there's women out there who are like, yo, this Spider-Man's kind of a pushover. And I don't see that, because she's so ungrateful in certain areas. It's like, yo, why is he even with her? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, they need to revamp Mary Jane and really alter her character so that we don't want her being kidnapped and eventually being killed. When it comes to Silver Sable, I get it. She's a hardcore Russian strong woman, but he's constantly trying to appease Silver Sable. Hey, Silver, please, let's work together. Please, if you can do this, please, if you can do that. It's like you make Spider-Man like this doofus. Like, there's this scene where she puts like this tracker on him, and it's completely unbeknownst to him, even though he's been in the field for 8 years. This is the first time. You yourself had a spider tracers. Like, what? I don't get how his spider sense wouldn't go off. Like, that's dangerous to him, as dangerous to his life, having someone follow him, whenever he takes off his secret identity or something like that. And I'm like, in addition to that, wait, he just had this thing on the whole time? I didn't like that at all. I don't like how they're pussifying Spider-Man. If they want to pussify Peter Parker, fine. You can do whatever you want with Peter Parker. Peter Parker is not the same thing as Spider-Man. Spider-Man should be a more confident, a more heroic person than Peter Parker is. I think they're missing that dynamic of the character. So this now brings us to Yuri. I mean, the same circumstance happened with Yuri. I understand a little bit of the dynamic when it comes to Yuri, because Yuri is law enforcement. And any time Yuri can be like, yo, I've had enough of you, let's take you in. I get that. But even with Yuri, he's still, oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry. I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see that in a sequel. He's been doing this for 8 years. He's gone toe-to-toe with some of the best. He should be a little more confident, have bigger balls, and be able to hold himself. Having said that, when it comes to Miles, I'm in between a rock and a hard place right now, because I'm like, they have potential to do great things with this character. I just don't know where they're heading. You know, you can't pinpoint where exactly the sequel is going to land Miles. They've taken him a lot in this DLC, like towards certain parts. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was like, okay, all right, we're actually going there. They've sped this up a bit. So I hope they played this correctly in the sequel. And then for my last con, it would have to be that it seems like instead of creating, I don't know, interesting ideas around the gameplay and whatnot, they just throw a whole bunch of dudes in a room and say, go fight. I'm just like, I feel like that's kind of lazy. Like, there's been multiple times where I've just been thrown into a room and it's like a wave after wave after wave after wave. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess. You have a lot of mechanics going on. The only time we use the little, the tunnel thing is like going through pipes and little closed corners. I'm like, yo, can we use that mechanic in a cool and interesting way in the game somehow? When it comes to Hammerhead, however, back to the character, I still don't, I mean, Hammerhead is just a bad guy. He's like this one-dimensional character who's just like, I want more power. Turns out, spoiler alert, the main reason that he becomes into a cyborg is that he wants to become invulnerable. And I'm just like, that's such a weak motive for you to, completely forego all of your humanity, in a sense, and just be a complete cyborg. I'm just like, that we're gonna need a little bit more for him to completely shred his entire body and go full cyborg. Like, I'm sorry, him just wanting to be invulnerable is not a strong enough motive for someone to do this. And then even with Hammerhead, he's constantly like, I want respect, I want respect. So even him, he has like some issues going on. It's like, yo, bruh, like, why are you beta too? You just want respect. If I do this, I'll get respect. You still have to respect me. And I'm just like, yo, I don't know. It feels to me like they place a lot of the men in, a lot of the main characters in very weak and submissive positions. When it came to the original game with the father and the captain, I mean, he was a strong character. He was helping Spider-Man, but he dies. So now that I've said all that, and I probably pissed and triggered some of you guys off, let's go into the pros. And starting off, the first pro is there is a segment in this game that it's a Peter Parker segment, and this is it. This is hopefully this is implemented in the sequel, because this is something I've talked about. I'm going to do a whole entire video on this segment because I think it was nicely done. There are a few things that could have been changed, but in this segment, I loved it. I was like, yo, they have something here. They have something here. If they can flush this out and really perfect the mechanic of what was going on or what they were hinting at in the sequel, done. The next thing I liked about it is that it humanized Silver Sable. Silver Sable is very much rah, 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 all the way up until like the midpoint to the end, and it's like, okay, she's not just a robot, right? She's a person. She has personalities. There's reasons why she's hesitant and putting trust in people. Like, there's good intentions where she is and what she's doing, and I like that. I hate seeing like I'm the bad guy, I'm the good guy, I'm the dumb guy. So I think I like how they shaped her character into something that's a little more relatable. I like the boss fight. I liked it a lot. I like how it went from this version to this version to that version. I like that. I've been saying that from the get-go. And lastly, of course, it's going to be the ending with, and spoiler alert, with their, saying, credit to Stan Lee. Their homage to Stan Lee. I felt like I won't give him too much credit because it was really much a screen with writing on it. I'm like, you guys could have, I don't know, done a little bit more than that. But I'm guessing the story was already written, everything was already done. It was too late. I don't know, speculation. But I mean, at least they did something there. They put it there. It would have been nice if they'd done a token, where you found a collectible like the backpack, and it would have been, Stan Lee's glasses. That would have been nice. But hindsight's 2020. Oh no, this DLC in particular was, it's all right. Nothing to give praise about. My favorite DLC would probably be the first one, surprisingly, because when I wrote about it, I was like, yo, I hate this DLC. This is trash. There's nothing new mechanics wise. But now that I'm seeing the other two, I'm like, yo, it was really good. Not the gameplay, because we've already seen the gameplay. Not the story, because I'm not really fond of the baby mama drama story. But it was that connection between Spider-Man and Black Cat, like their relationship, like there was actual history there. And then with with certain collectibles, I don't want to spoil that, and how that came, to be a surprise. I liked how that was formed. I like that. Hopefully they learn a lot from this. They learn a lot from the communication, or lack thereof, and they learn a lot from when to release teasers or trailers about a game, and then go blackout on communication. So I think there's a lot of firsts here for Insomniac, and then the great thing about this is that there's a lot of room to improve. So when it comes to developers like Santa Monica Studios or Rocksteady, they've set their bar so far high. It's like, yo, we get anything less than what we got last time, we have a problem. The thing is, Insomniac isn't that high, so there's a lot of room to improve and to really astound players. There's a lot of room to innovate, and that's what I'm really looking most excited for in the sequel. I'm sure that they'll deliver. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think, whether or not you believe Lucas. I hate you, Lucas. Or if you have believe, you know what, the DS, you probably should wait until they do a bundle. But everything so far, it's been all right. It's been okay. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. I'm sure that they'll deliver.